like to welcome you guys to the Legal Wars Live. Today is June the 7th, and we will be discussing President Trump's this is what I call his lax dealings with other nations. You know what I'm saying? And I got prepared content, I got news. We're going to get into that. Before I get into all of that, though, I want to touch down on a couple things as far as the League Wars podcast goes, or League Wars Live. I'm sorry, I'm still calling it League Wars podcast. Number one, I wanted to say that I have a new video up. The Pardon 3 is finally out. You know what I'm saying? So you guys make sure y'all go and check that out whenever you guys get a chance. You know what I'm saying? It's on YouTube, of course, in the videos. Also, as well, guys, I wanted to say that a year anniversary for Illegal Wars Live is coming up. You know what I'm saying? In August, the end of August and September. Come September, I definitely 10,000% will be off the vertical live feed. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to stay on the vertical live feed until September. And also, last but not least, got another vlog coming out. It's called Discover Your Passion 4. I think that comes out on Wednesday. So for all of you guys who are watching this content after it was pre-recorded, make sure you guys, please go check out those new vlogs. Bunch of new content. That being said, man, y'all give me a second, man. I'm gonna come right back. As soon as I come back, we're gonna jump straight into the content and we're gonna get it on. So guys, as y'all come in, I ask that y'all please double tap the screen, like the video for your boy. You know what I'm saying? For those of you guys who view this content after it's recorded, I ask that y'all please subscribe to the channel as well. So I want to start off by saying that, guys, I am a President Trump supporter. Did I vote for President Trump? No. He ran for election 3 times. I never voted for him, not once. That being said, due to certain circumstances, you know what I'm saying, I am a President Trump supporter. Now, I think being a supporter of President Trump, and I wouldn't say being critical, you know what I'm saying, even though it might be viewed as being critical, but just being analytic, you know what I'm saying, of certain situations is very important. So I just wanted that disclosure before I get to the content, y'all. So let's get to it. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video. If you hadn't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Most importantly, guys, y'all get down in the comments, man. Let y'all voices be heard. I want to start off by saying I never voted for President T, like I just told y'all, but I'm definitely rocking with him, okay? So y'all can understand, I'm rocking with President Trump, all right? I will never disrespect him personally, but I think it's important to highlight differences of opinions. And you may say, Ghost, why you say that? Because you like debate? Well, sure, that's number one. But number two, our nation was founded on the idea of having a healthy debate. So understand, it's very important that we, the people, continue to let our voices be heard. That's why I say y'all get down in those comments. Hello, good morning. And y'all let y'all voices be heard. It could help our democracy. So I'm going to start with the metrics. The metrics are President Trump in his own words. Okay? That's how we're going to do this. Now, we're talking about President Trump's foreign policy as a whole. We're taking a look at it this morning. So, what did President Trump say on the Israeli-Palestinian war, the Gaza pre-election? Do anybody remember? If y'all do, y'all could put it in the comments. Okay, so the source for this news is the Times of Israel. The Times of Israel, October the 30th, 2024. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has told Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that he wants Israel to wrap up the war in Gaza by the time he returns to office if he wins the election. Do anybody remember President Trump saying that? I just want to make sure the news source is correct. So guys, I'll go a little further and say, if you watch our live streams from September, when we started into the election, we had thousands of Republicans talk about how weak President Biden was and how if President Trump was president, the world wouldn't be in none of this. Y'all don't remember that? You know what I'm saying? Guys, make sure as y'all come in, y'all please double tap the screen for your boy, man. Y'all like the video, show us some support. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just asking a question, y'all, a realistic question. Y'all don't remember all the Republicans talking about how weak President Biden was. And if President Trump was president, none of that would be happening. I'm going to give you another news source, okay? This is according to the BBC. This is currently June the 6th, 2025. You ask, has anyone heard what's going on in that war in Gaza and Israel? Just stop talking about it. What's going on over there? So, Israel strikes southern Beirut on eve of religious holiday. Also, BBC reports that Netanyahu confirms Israel arming clan opposed to Hamas in Gaza. My analysis on the situation, guys, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We heard what President Trump said pre-election about what is going to happen when he becomes president over in the Middle East. But I mean, the BBC is reporting that nothing has changed. At first, it looked promising, but President Trump making comments about taking the Gaza Strip and turning it into Dubai probably didn't help out at all and wasn't the appropriate comments to make at the time. You know what I'm saying? With a heart full of love, my analysis to this point is that from the expectations that President Trump set out pre-election to what we actually seeing in the first 4 months in the Middle East, I have to say, President Trump, your progress report on that Middle East conflict, it has to be a failing grade. Has to be, President Trump. Man, you know I rock with you, President T. You know what I'm saying? Got mad love for you. President Trump, what I'm saying is that the expectations you set for the American people, including a whole lot of Muslims in Detroit that helped you get elected, for the Israelis, for the people in that area, is that you were going to bring that war to an end, that conflict to an end. You know what I'm saying? President Trump, it's the expectations that was set from the beginning. It's what you said about President Biden and what you said pre-election. And 4 months later, the way it looks, I'm saying that that issue, that conflict has not been resolved. Point blank, period. I mean, I don't think that's good for American foreign policy. What you guys think? Guys, y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen for me. Y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel too, guys. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start talking about the Ukrainian-Russia conflict pre-election. Source, the Associated Press. This was April the 24th of 2025. During his campaign, President Trump said repeatedly that he would be able to end the war between Russia and Ukraine within 24 hours of taking office. Guys, that is the Associated Press, April 24th, 2025. President Trump, how many of you guys heard him say he gonna be able to stop that war within 24 hours of taking office? Russia and Ukraine. Let's be real. I love President Trump to death. This ain't no hate. This just a real session. Guys, personally, the 24-hour thingy, that was just a figure of speech. But what he truly implied, that he was a peace president, and Joe Biden, didn't have a clue, and how he would quickly end the war due to a close relationship with Vladimir Putin. Guys, come on, man. We can't front. We know President Trump been doing this bromance with old Vladimir. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Trump hater. So if you come in here looking for me to be a Trump hater, you in the wrong place. I'm not a Trump hater. I'm just analyzing the situation. President Trump made a choice. He made a gamble. His choice and his gamble was to be friends with old Vladimir. You know what I'm saying? President Trump is taking the wrong angle with Putin. And we warned him about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about the Republican presidents with Russia. You know? Because I love President Bush, the second one, Junior, Dubs. You know what I'm saying? Texas, stand up. But he took the wrong angle with Putin at first. And I'm saying President Trump's already been president for 4 years, so he knows what's going on with Putin. You know what, guys, I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about, y'all remember the first time President Trump was in the White House? President Trump and President Obama both, Putin's been at war for 20 years, okay? The first time President Trump was in the White House, that conflict with Syria was raging. I hadn't researched this or not. It's just a thought I was having, okay? We're going to get back to the content. So President Obama had set a red line and told Syria, you know, Russia's back in Syria. He told Assad not to gas his people, and they did it. So I'm saying I remember when President Trump got in the White House, when he first got in the White House, somebody could research this, fact check me. He got on some words with Russia in a situation with Syria. He dropped like one of the largest bombs been dropped in American history. You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, President Trump, his appearance to the rest of the world in that first term, he looked a whole lot tougher. Due to these miscalculations on Russia and the angles he taken with Putin, like I said, y'all, I'm not a President Trump hater. I'm not hating on President Trump. You gotta understand that. I hope we clear about that. I am not hating on President Trump whatsoever. You see what I'm saying? I'm just analyzing the situation. I'm actually on President Trump's side. You know what I'm saying? I believe as an elected president, the American people spoke and he was duly elected. As an elected president, his preference is his preference. That's the reason why he was elected to the office. So if he chooses to take an angle to attempt to, I wouldn't say befriend Vladimir Putin, but to get a better seat at the negotiating table or get Vladimir to the table, if he being nice with Vladimir for that purpose, that's cool, but he's already tried that and that has failed miserably. Vladimir's flicking his nose in President Trump's face. You might not think that means something. That means something. Because meantime, you're trying to get a peace deal with Iran, and the supreme leader, he's sitting back watching. You know, China, they call America a big bully. You know, they've been waiting to take Taiwan. Tell me where I'm wrong at. You know, China, they sitting back watching. North Korea was told they couldn't have a nuclear weapon, and they got one today. But they still watching. That's why it matters. Those optics means a lot, bruh. President Trump, just how you want to go to the Middle East and you want to look good as a leader, to be a strong leader, President T, you got to look good by being really strong, not by saying some tough words. Or due to these miscalculations, he can't just say, sometimes you have to just let them fight it out. What? How many of y'all heard President Trump say that? You talking about Ukraine and Russia? Like I said, President Trump is the elected. He is the legal leader of the United States, the U.S. military. So if President Trump chooses to change the world order, I mean, that's his choice. But what I'm saying is sometimes you just got to let President Trump, you want to project yourself as a leader. I'm going to just illustrate for a second, because I illustrate really well. You're projecting yourself as a leader. Okay? Now, say the leader, say you are like a parent and you have two children fighting. Because that's kind of what he said. Like, that's what it sounds like. You the parent, you the leader, you the parent. Or say you work at the elementary school and you like a elementary school teacher, okay? And you see two students fighting and you come to the fight. And you say, sometimes you got to just let them fight it out. That's what you're going to say as the parent? I'm saying some parents might say that. How many parents? But my parents, I ain't never, like, you got five, they finna kill each other. You finna have to take your babies to the hospital to, sometimes that's not leadership. Leadership is to grab one of them and to spank them and tell them don't do it no more and make them stop. Make them stop. You gotta make them stop. Listen, I ain't hating on President Trump. Make sure we understand that. But what I'm saying is, President Trump, you said you was going to. You said you could. So you have to do this. You can't turn your back. You can't walk away. That's not leadership. That is no leader. That is the absence of a leader. You letting them decide who's the leader amongst themselves. What? They're toddlers. You got the authority and the power. You talked about President Biden. President Biden was letting them duke it out too. He was supporting Ukraine viciously though. He was letting them duke it out. You saying you're going to do the same thing, but you call him weak. And then here's the kicker, President Trump. Y'all, somebody put it in the chat if I'm wrong. President T, didn't you do a mineral deal with Ukraine too? So you got their money too. So you trying to tell me, President Trump, you get money from Ukraine and you talking about letting them duke it out? Maybe that's how you feel, but we're going to get to something else later. Y'all, welcome to the Legal Wars Live. Y'all kicking it with y'all boy Ghostwriter on a Saturday afternoon. I'm just making it be clear that I am a President Trump supporter throughout this stream, so y'all understand that. You don't hear his supporters talk like this, but you hearing one talk like this today. Speaking about Russia and Ukraine, referencing them, to schoolyard kids, President Trump, let's get real for a minute, okay? That's the exact same thing President Biden was doing. He was letting them duke it out. President Trump, you were saying, listen, President Trump, I got to be real with you. Steve Bannon might not be real with you. Your allies, your advisors might not be real with you, but if I don't be real with you, President T, I don't love you. So I'm going to be real with you. I'm saying, if this wasn't you, President Trump, say this was President Obama. Because if I was doing a podcast during the time he was president, that's who I am. I don't care who it is. It ain't no respect of person. I got reasons to have love for President Trump, a lot. I got love for him, a lot. But this is what I'm saying, though, President T, you said that you was going to end the war. It ain't ended. You took the angle of being buddies with Vladimir that hadn't worked. I'm saying, when you going to take the angle of being buddies with, listen, I'm going to get to something too, y'all, okay? But when you going to take the other angle, President Trump, that's the question. How are your policies, President Trump, different than President Biden's, besides the talk? You tried diplomacy with Vladimir. President Biden wasn't talking to him because he know him. How long President Biden been a congressman, a U.S. congressman? 50 years. How long President Biden probably remember the day Vladimir took over from Gorbachev. He was there before Vladimir was there. He been knew Vladimir. That's why he ain't talking to him. He know him. President Trump, you got to look at it like this. We got to put politics in. With President Trump, when you ride with me, I don't do no politics, man. I do truth and facts. That's how you win. On top of that, President Trump got a mineral deal out of Ukraine. That should be an incentive to help them, right, President T? Let's take a look and see what's going on in Ukraine and Russia today from what President Trump said pre-election. Y'all make sure y'all double tap that screen for me. Like that video. Y'all jump down in the comments for me, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, I used to be on set, man. I used to use this as Kool-Aid. The water to demonstrate Kool-Aid drinkers. I don't do that no more, though. All right, now. This source is the Associated Press, April 24th, 2025. During his campaign, President Trump, okay, we talked about that. He said he was going to end the war. Now, what's going on in Russia today? NPR, June the 2nd, 2025. Russia proposed another attempt at peace negotiations. That sounds good starting off. So Vladimir want peace? It seemed like he would, right? Because I'm saying President Trump at first was saying he was losing 5,000 of his own troops. I reported way more than that. But President Trump kept saying it, so 5,000. Then now I heard people saying 7,000 a week of his own children. I say children because most of these people dying between 18 and 35 or 40 or younger, maybe between 18 and 30. 7,000 families a week. Just let your mind, wrap your mind around that. Don't care. What you fight, Vladimir? What you fighting over? Oh, a piece of man. Guys, listen. So he proposed another attempt at peace negotiations with Ukraine on Monday in Istanbul in Turkey. But both sides remain firmly entrenched in their positions on their territorial disputes and sovereignty. That have thus far made substantial progress unlikely. Meanwhile, President Trump, who has been eager to bring Ukrainian President and Vladimir Putin to the table, has been showing signs of frustration over the process, suggesting that he is prepared. Don't say it, man. Ghost, don't say, what is President Trump prepared to do? Just back away. Oh, no. President Trump, you said that you are prepared to just back away. Stop and think about that for a second. Because see, I'm going to make you think about it the way no one else think about it. You're going to back away. I mean, in my mind, the words back away says weakness. Back away. Step forward says strength. You know, the words ain't got to be like, strike them in the jaw. You feel me? That say a lot of strength. But I'm saying back away from what? America should never, in no situation, under no circumstances, back away from nothing. I'm going to say that one more time for you so you can hear me in the back. America, guys, under no circumstances, in no situation should ever back away from nothing. Sir, you are the leader of the free world. Back away. He act like them 7,000. And look, y'all hear me say this. Y'all hear me say that I'm supporting President Trump now. Okay, you just don't hear supporters talk like this, but I'm trying to help out. Look, President Trump, I heard you say something about those 7,000 Russians dying. We ain't talking about the Ukrainians. Ukrainian citizens too. Vladimir's a war criminal. We'll talk about that at another time, another live stream. But I'm saying, President Trump, you talk about the 5,000, 7,000 souls that are leaving this earth every week. He's sacrificing them over some land. He don't care. What he care about? Vladimir is the richest dude in the world. Go fact check me right now, y'all. Google me. Vladimir got like a $500 million house. Y'all don't know Vladimir? A mother Russia. You feel me? Come on, man. President Trump, you cannot be playing like with this dude. President Trump, he been eager to end the war. He preparing to back away and allow the fight to continue if the two leaders can't make progress soon. President Trump, with all love and respect, sir. Letter to the president, all love and respect. Mr. President, here's the question for you. How is that any different than President Biden? Somebody could put it in the chat or the stream. Y'all could talk amongst yourselves. I ask that y'all like the video for me. Y'all double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, hit the notification bell. But my question is how is him backing away and let them duke it out? That's what President Biden was doing. But President Trump, not only you said you was going to end it, but I'm saying you was like President Biden weak. You don't think Iran is listening to this? You don't think the supreme leader, all he probably watched is Fox and CNN. The supreme leader of Iran probably watched more Fox and CNN than you do. He probably could tell you the news better than you can. He hanging on to every word you saying. What I'm about to tell you is AA+ analysis you ain't gonna get from nowhere else. President Trump is looking at it like this. Okay? President Trump, the advisors, those generals, tell me if I'm wrong. They looking at it like this. 2 more summers and all of Ukraine will probably fall. Because once Putin, it's been 4 years, he can't punch a hole. It ain't funny because of how many people he's sacrificing. He'll take 30 years. He want all of Ukraine. And he know if he keep dread, he bigger, way bigger and way stronger. He going, without America, Ukraine is gone. Understand that. Putin gonna take them. If Europe might slow it down a little bit, but he taking, and he know that. So President Trump thinking in 2 more summers, Ukraine can't win this war. That's what President Trump is thinking. Okay. So he's probably thinking like Vladimir is going to keep Crimea. He's going to. I don't know nothing about the negotiations. I hadn't looked them up or researched them, but I could just tell from the news, from NPR. Disputes over sovereignty and territorial disputes. We know Putin, Crimea, Putin's probably not going to want to give up no territory that he's already taken from Ukraine. And you know, Zelensky being a war hero, Zelensky ain't going with that. He a mighty warrior. And President Trump is calculating. He looking at Ukraine and like, okay, Mr. Mighty Warrior, but you a mighty warrior, but you not finna beat old Mother Russia. You're not gonna beat them. So this is what I think he might be doing. I might be wrong. President Trump might be allowing Zelensky to get in a more realistic position at the negotiating table. You see what I'm saying? What I mean by that, he might just be letting Russia beat up on him. Like let Russia, so Zelensky could see that, hey, you're gonna have to give up more than what you want to give up. Because that's why President Trump is being nicer to Putin, because he figured that Putin's gonna get the bigger slice of the pie regardless, because Putin could take all of Ukraine if he want to, because that's what he really wants. Y'all feel me? That's President Trump's side of the view. That's what I do. I'm a paralegal, freelance paralegal, guys. That's what I do. I gotta see it from the other person's side, because that way my argument could beat that argument. Okay. Now I could be wrong, and that might not be President Trump's calculus. But what I'm saying is this is how it looks to the rest of the world. President Trump, you gotta look at it like this. This is how the rest of the world looking at it. America, the big dog on the block. Guys, I just heard Chinese people saying during the tariff, the trade war, they calling America a bully and everything. That stuff with J.D. Vance, they call America a bully all the time. So over there, out west, in the Orient, in Asia, they look at America like the big dog on the block. Richest, strongest country in the world, undisputed, okay? Ukraine is like America's younger second cousin that's getting bullied by one of his family members, Russia. Because if you guys don't remember, Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. If you ask Putin, he would say it's still a part of Russia. That's the reason why they fighting the fight. So Russia and Ukraine really kind of like family members. But Ukraine is like America's second cousin, kind of kin, like, but not as close to Russia. But still, you know, we cool on Ukraine. They like kind of, so regardless of President Trump's calculus, because I think President Trump is looking at this like a business deal. It's not a business deal situation. To the rest of the world, America walking away from Ukraine right now makes America look disinterested, which leaves the door open for what? Peace? No, more aggression by other countries. Pause right there, because I want to make sure we understand that. President Trump, you walking away is just going to make the world even more volatile. You're going to have to get on the phone and do what you did with India and Pakistan, which was a great job. And you got 2 nuclear on the brink of, that's great. But it's not going to always turn out so great. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this and screaming this for a while. Asia is on fire. In the Middle East, you had India and Pakistan. You got Russia. Before China, they being aggressive. It's probably more conflicts than I'm even naming. That's what I'm saying. And I think in my mind, we look at China as the power, but Russia is, you see what I'm saying? Russia got a lot of respect over there out west. You got to think about that. What if America was fighting a war with Venezuela? Well, that probably would unite the entire, even if it's just America and Venezuela fighting, the other nation's gonna get in. That's what's going on in Asia right now, is what I'm trying to say, okay? I don't want to do the weave too hard. I want y'all to stay with me, okay? Regardless of President Trump's calculus walking away from Ukraine, what's the optics? How does it look to the rest of the world? America walking away from Ukraine, what that look like to China? To Iran and North Korea. Russia is all those nations' allies. They all watch it. Believe that. The words of both and all leaders closely. Believe that. You don't think Iran heard candidate Trump say he would end the war in Ukraine in a day? Y'all don't think that? You don't think Iran sees Putin flicking his nose in President Trump's face? You don't think that? America not supporting Ukraine to the end of this conflict to us independents. President Trump, listen to me. America not supporting Ukraine to the end of this conflict, President Trump, to us independents, is no difference than how President Biden ran out of Afghanistan. No different. Let me break that down for you from an independent perspective, not from a Democrat perspective, from an independent perspective. Okay, let's be real. The American military leaving Afghanistan, they acting like somebody is out to kill the boogeyman, finna kill him. This is the strongest military in the world. Believe that. And they leaving Afghanistan like the boogeyman after me, like they scared. The optics. Afghans hanging off the plane. Think about that. Falling to their death. Oh my goodness, that was so embarrassing. And President Trump recognizes that. Okay? Now, y'all stay with me for just a second. To an independent, him walking away from Ukraine, it looked just the same to me. Just the same. Guys, y'all make sure y'all like the video, double tap y'all screen, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. If you guys want to contribute to the channel, if you enjoy the content, y'all jump down in the comments below. Let your voices be heard. Y'all can discuss amongst yourselves. Also, guys, super chat, super thanks, super stickers, any donation is very helpful. They start at 99 cents. Just hit that button below with the $sign, and your donations are much appreciated. Now, President Trump, to help you out, I know you're a businessman. So I'm going to say it to you from a businessman perspective about this Russia-Ukraine situation. Imagine your employees in the Trump organization, the Trump hotels. Big Trump started beefing with the Marriott. The Trump hotel organizations versus the Marriott hotel organizations. Oh, who has a better hotel? You feel me? Who has a better hotel? Say a problem ensued that will cost the Trump organizations millions in litigation. And at the board meeting at Trump Towers, chairman of the board, Trump, gets frustrated. Let's be real, President Trump. You just frustrated with the situation. It's hard. I know it is, President Trump. Ain't it hard? Dealing with Vladimir give you gray hairs. It gave President Obama some. It's hard, ain't it? The world problems are hard, but President Trump, you wanted it so bad. You can't walk away. I wouldn't even say nothing like walk away. But at a board meeting, okay, it's a fight between Marriott employees and Trump Tower employees, Trump Hotel employees, and we had a board meeting. Chairman of the board, Trump, he's sitting at the board meeting, and something happens, and Mr. Trump of the board meeting at the not President Trump, President Trump, he gets frustrated and say he's going to go back out and just let his team get beat up by Marriott. You're going to back out and let Ukraine just get beat up by Russia. Listen, President Trump, we know they can't beat them. We understand that. And I understand you calculating that you kind of want to help get it to an end, so you let Russia get it. So you back Vladimir down to you know what I'm saying? He trying to work that. That's what he trying to do, being nice to Vladimir. He calculating, he trying to work it. You feel what I'm saying? But while you doing that, President Trump, what y'all saying in them secret rooms, them top secret rooms, Iran, they don't hear that. North Korea, they don't hear that. China, they're not hearing that. But what they do see, President Trump, what they do see is the U.S. military leaving with Afghanis hanging off of it, falling to their death. Talking about walking away from Ukraine, that's not what America does. America doesn't walk away from nothing. That's strength. We ain't walking away from nothing, President Trump. I love you, brother, to death. But America doesn't walk away from nothing, President T. That's what leadership is. How you gonna lead and you walking the other way? I'm a leader. The word actually means, what's that called? When the word means what it actually saying. You know what I'm saying? Leader. You are leading other people. Leading. Other people behind you. Remember we talk about President Trump, how VP Harrison and talk about an election. We talk about a strong leader. He a strong man. Remember President Obama had word. That's not strong. President Obama talking about real leadership, and VP Harris talking about real leadership, lifting up people. But I'm saying President Trump, like he talking about deporting people. He looking strong, deporting like he gonna be in the war in the day. They're not gonna play with me. It ain't gonna be no wars when I'm president. And I'm saying you get to a tough spot and you leading. You are leading. They're following you. He talking about how weak Europe is. They are weak, but they're your weak brothers. They're your weak cousins. That's where you came from. We came from Africa, us black people. There's people here from America, from everywhere. But I'm saying President Trump, y'all, I need to stop, don't I? Y'all. President Trump, I'm saying most Caucasian people in America came from Europe. That's your allies, that's your brothers, that's your cousins. You can't leave them out there. I don't care how weak they are. That's irrelevant. That's how America maintains order in the world. And I'm doing this live stream because when I get to the end of it, I'm going to show you how a perfect storm has been created for the world order to be upended. Why would you upend the world order where America is not the power? I'm trying to figure this out, bro. President Trump, you got a meeting at the board where the Trump Hotel against the Marriott Hotel, you get frustrated and back out and let your team get beat up by Marriott. Nah, bruh. Right, wrong, or indifferent, you have to stand all 10 with your brother. Ukraine is your little brother, whether they weak or not. Zelensky is your little brother, whether you like him or not, whether his breath is kind of ratchet or not, whether you don't want to put on a suit or not, whether you don't want to, President Trump, you got money from him. You got a mineral deal. You can't walk away. You got one other choice. Another angle, you've been trying to be nice to Putin. Why not try to be tough on him? I bet with the right sanction and you helping Ukraine punch him in the mouth at the same time will bring him to a table a lot quicker. President T, we almost to the end of this, y'all, okay? Make sure y'all double tap that screen for me now. Y'all ain't liking the video. Listen, this is what I'm saying. This would be my strategy, President Trump. I would be like Vladimir. Because how Vladimir is, he a snake in the grass of the oldest kind. He is. That's why I chose the picture for the thumbnail. I did this stream before. That's what I'm saying. Like President Bush, he was something about Republicans. Because if J.D. Vance doesn't win and you have a new Republican in 8 years or 4 years, when they first come in the White House, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, I looked in Vladimir's eyes and I saw you ain't see nothing but the devil. That's all you saw. You can't be his friend. President Trump, I understand Trump towers in Moscow or whatever. I don't have no problem with it, President T. I'm not hating on you. Do the business with him. But this man got a $500 million house. He don't care about that. This dude's super ultra rich. That's what I'm saying, President T. And you done took the angle of trying to be his friend. So this is what you do, President T. Since he's snaking you. Vladimir snaking President Trump. Vladimir telling President Trump he want peace. He calling for peace and he's sending drone attacks. President Trump tell him to stop and he'll send even more than he just sent the day before. All of this happened. Go fact check me. He thumbing his nose in his face. He playing with him. So I would play with him. First thing first, I like how President Trump did with Elon. He got Elon to do them job cuts so he wouldn't take the flack for it. Elon was his fall guy. You feel? Elon don't care, though. He's so rich, he don't care. It ain't really hurt him. He lose billions. He's still the richest dude in the world. President Trump, you need a fall guy for some sanctions on Russia. Maybe you use Congress to do it. So Putin won't, you could play the same game he playing. Hey, Putin, I didn't want to do this, but Congress imposed sanctions. They imposed sanctions on you. And at the same time, President Trump, you take some of your special forces and you put them over there in Ukraine and you start popping that Putin in his mouth, man. And then come out on TV like you still his buddy. Smile, do the same thing he do. Gas him up. Be a convict like he a convict. Be a liar like he a liar. Fight fire with fire. Pop him in his mouth. Help Ukraine militarily. This is what I would do if I was dealing with him. Because he don't understand nothing else but violence. The guy is ex-KGB. He was molded and trained to be what he is right now. And in his mind, now is the time to reunite Mother Russia. I said, go check the live streams. USSR, he trying to put it back together. I said this long time ago. That boy giving up 7,000 troops a week to do it. Now, guys, y'all want to know why optics matter? We almost to the end. Y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen, though. I'm giving y'all some real live. This is why optics matter. Because now, currently, Iran. Yeah. You didn't know? Listen, when President Trump was running for president, there was an assassination threat on his life from Iran. We could laugh at that, but the Secret Service wasn't laughing. They took that seriously. Could Iran pull that off? Actually, on President Trump, it ain't even nowhere close to possible. Not close to possible. Not with the military we have. But what I'm saying is just that the fact that they had that plot lets you know that they was tuned in to his. You don't think they was listening to his speeches? They listening to everything you say. It's optics. You want to look strong, President Trump. You got all the weapons to intimidate the entire world. Listen, they said that, y'all remember they said, how could VP Harris sit across from Vladimir Putin? What difference is it than President Trump? Vladimir ain't listening to President Trump. I was trying to tell y'all this back then. You don't understand that. Like what difference if it's VP Harris? It's not about that. It's not about like looking or trying to appear tough, because I'm saying that they're not buying it. Because Vladimir is their America. They know America's stronger than them. They don't care about that. Vladimir and Russia, Mother Russia, is Iran's America. That's their chief ally. That's their big dog. In China, they big dogs. That's Asia. You got to see that. So Iran, they tuned in to President Trump and Vladimir. They watching the whole thing, and Vladimir sitting there thumbing his nose. So now America, he wanna deal with Iran. He trying to get a nuclear deal with Iran. That's why optics matter. Iran just watched you with Putin. Now it's their turn. Why they should listen to you? Putin didn't have to listen to you. This is according to Reuters, June the 4th. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said on Wednesday that abandoning Ukraine enrichment was 100% against the country's interests, rejecting a central U.S. demand in talks to resolve a decades-long, I want y'all to remember, decades-long with Iran, dispute over Iran's nuclear ambitions, because this is what I'm saying, a decades-long dispute with Iran over Iran's nuclear ambitions. It's going to come to a head, right? Sooner than later, you would think so, right? Look, it was a similar situation. Iran, look, listen to this. It was a similar situation with America and North Korea for the longest time. When Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-il, the daddy, whichever one, wanted a nuclear weapon. So you could say, Ghost, look what happened with North Korea. Ain't a shot was fired, but they still got a nuke. This situation with Iran, see, it's what you got to understand the world. You got to know the world. This situation with Iran is much different than North Korea. Number one, China and North Korea pretty much, the heritage of those nations, they're so closely kin. China is not going to let America just come out and dog North Korea. It's not going to happen. America just didn't think that fight was worth it, number one. And then number two, the situation with Iran, who going to protect Iran? China's not going to protect Iran like that. Who's going to protect Iran? Russia? That's their ally. So Russia's going to protect Iran. Russia can't really do nothing right now. They too tied up. They getting troops from North Korea. So this would be a good time to deal with Iran if you got to deal with them. Because what I'm saying is America don't deal with Iran. Israel will. That's the problem. Israel, like Netanyahu, and that's really Israel's problem to deal with, because if it's not dealt with correctly, Israel's going to be the one to keep having to deal with Iran. They're the ones who Iran is saying they want to wipe them off the map. You see what I'm saying? So President Trump's trying to make a peace deal with Iran. He's trying to get a peace deal with Iran. But Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is Fox News' biggest watcher. Oh yeah, Sean Hannity, the supreme leader of Iran, watching you every night. That's how he get his news. Real talk though. So he looking at President Trump like, oh, he said he was gonna end this war. The war ain't over. He said he said so. And he also said, this is what Khamenei said, Iranian leader. The proposal that the Americans have presented is 100% against our interests. The rude and arrogant leaders of America repeatedly demand we should not have our nuclear program. Who are you to decide whether Iran should have enrichment? He added. This is Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, according to Reuters. Trump has revised his maximum pressure campaign against Tehran since his return to the White House in January, which include tightening sanctions and threatening to bomb Iran if the negotiation yield no deal. I heard President Trump say to Iran, he asked Iran if they wanted peace. Y'all, who heard President Trump say that? He said, do y'all want peace? Because the other option, that's what President Trump is saying. But just like President Trump is calculating, taking that wrong angle with Putin, President Trump, man, you triple OG, strong. Show American strength. Strong. It's difficult dealing with Putin because them generals not gonna really let you get in no all conflict with, because they nuclear. Like, we ain't nobody finna do that with Russia unless it's complete self-defense. So it's hard to navigate that situation with Ukraine because Zelensky, in his mind, he think he 100 foot tall and bulletproof. Ukraine cannot beat Russia. Zelensky, you cannot beat him. Zelensky wants to fight till there's no Ukrainians left. I don't know this. I never read this, but I'm just trying to tell you that's what he believes. He is a mighty warrior, but you fighting a fight you cannot win. So President Trump knows this, and he don't want to leave Ukraine because you can't leave your family members that make America look weak, and he don't want to stay in that war. What do? I'ma just back out and leave and go home. Where that at, President Trump? Where that at? Putin giving up 7,000 bloody. Listen to me. Putin losing 7,000 troops a week. He ain't leaving nothing. President Trump, that's why you look up to him as a strong man, because he gonna stand 10. You got to stand 10 on that red, white, and blue, President Trump. It ain't about no business. It ain't about no trillions. It ain't about no investments. It's on that red, white, and blue. Where my military people at, y'all? You know what I'm saying? I want to salute everyone who served in the United States military. I'm a veteran. I stand up for veterans and veterans' rights. It's about standing 10 on that red, white, and blue, President Trump. That's what that flag means. It means freedom. Look, Ukraine, they want to be a democracy. You know Putin ain't no good, President T. Trump Towers or not. You know President Trump, you know Putin ain't no good. You know he a war criminal. You know he kills his own citizens. You took that angle, President T, and I'm being as fair as I can because I love you, my guy. You know I love you, my guy. I'm a rock with you, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's called loyalty. It's just I'm not a Kool-Aid drinker. I'm going to be the one to speak the truth. This the MAGA radio that speak the truth. MAGA radio that speak truth. I love you, President T. But this is what I'm saying, though. You took that angle. You won the election. It don't matter how nobody feel. You have the right to do this. He took the angle to be cool with Putin, to get Putin to the table. The news, I just reported it. Putin's at the table. But guess what Putin did? Listen, y'all. President Trump took an angle to be cool with Putin to get him to the table. He got Putin to the table. But you know what Putin did when he got to the table? He started bombing Ukraine harder. Bro, I gotta show you the forehead and the haircut that I need. Or the twist dreads, whatever I'm gonna do with it that I need. He started bombing them harder. Because he didn't come to the table for peace. What did he come to the table for? What did he come to the table for, Ghost? And see what that did, that confused President Trump. Well, I'll be darned. President T, you won. Actually, that's why I made the video. President Trump finna win big league in Ukraine. Because you got him to the table. But we try to tell you he was a snake the whole time, President T. He get to the table. He ain't come there for the attentions President Trump thought he came from. So President Trump throwing up his hands, talking about backing out, talking about it ain't his fight, and sometimes you gotta let him fight it out. Not me. Or I would say that publicly. But behind the scenes, I'll be talking to Mike Johnson. Y'all stand up one time for Louisiana. The Speaker of the House, little fresh, little clean dude, Mike Johnson. I'll be telling Mike Johnson to come out on CNN because Mike Johnson do interviews on CNN. And tell Mike Johnson that that the Republicans and the Democrats have come together and they want to impose sanctions on Vladimir Putin for what he is doing in Ukraine. Where you at, Secretary Rubio? Where you at? What you believe in, Secretary Rubio? Stand 10 on what you believe in. That's what I'm going to do. I'm a personal. Secretary Rubio, you know I love you too. I love you before President Trump. I supported, I would have voted for you. Real talk, if you would have won. Secretary Rubio, stand 10 on what you believe. This is why optics matter. Let's break it down in simpler terms. So President Trump let Russia beat up on his little cousin Ukraine and walked away. Now, he trying to tell me I can't have a nuclear weapon? He threatened Putin all the time and he don't do nothing about it. He ain't gonna do nothing else either. That's what the Iranian leaders saying. They calculate. They remembering how the U.S. leader told one of Iran's allies, North Korea and Kim Jong-un, they couldn't have a nuclear weapon. And they ended up with one. And America didn't do nothing to them either. So y'all, you know what that's telling me? President Trump might be wanting to bomb Iran now. He might want to get rid of that situation. But you know what, President Trump, I would let Israel do it and I would support them. So where we at right now, President Trump, after 4 months, I don't see no progress in the foreign policy. You saying you letting them two duke it out is the same thing Joe Biden was doing. And that's wrong for two reasons. Because number one, you said you was going to end the war. You recognized the loss of life. President Biden didn't know if he was coming or going in the end. all respect, that's facts. But President Trump, you recognize the loss of life, and you said you was going to do something about it. You can't walk away. And if you walk away, you ain't never going to be able to tell Iran nothing, because they're going to look at you as you being weak. He a coward. He talked that tough talk, but he ain't that strong. President Obama's stronger than him. That's how they're going to be thinking about you. They might not say it publicly, but I'm telling you, that's what they're thinking. That's what I do. I look at stuff from other people's perspectives. I'm good at that. President Trump, it won't be no golden age if the whole world is in war. Listen, there's a golden age in Russia. How that happen? How many really, really smart people we got in here right now? Y'all do me a favor. Y'all go over, if you will, and you Google Russia's GDP, their growth in their economy in the last 4 years. Okay? Now, I'm going to get a little deep here, okay? So you can make money in a war. Countries do come up. They start wars intentionally because they could profit off of war. Manufacturing, factory, but this is what I'm saying. That Ukrainian-Russian war has mainly been confined to one, Ukraine and Russia. That's it. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? Even though part of Europe is at war, is being in war too, look at all the rest of Europe. France is business as usual. Germany, business as usual. Italy, business as usual. UK, they more worried about President Trump's terrors than they are being attacked militarily. Does that make sense? So that Russia-Ukraine thing, Russia, they are profiting off of the war because it's a contained situation. Russia and Ukraine fighting is not affecting the world markets. Follow me. Okay? You can learn something. Russia and Ukraine fighting is not affecting the world markets. Who investing in a Russia? Does Russia even have stock markets? Who investing in it? But what you think gonna happen to the world markets when America drops a bomb in Tehran? The entire world markets, when America drops that bomb, what you think gonna happen to the world markets? There go your golden age, President Trump. Kiss it goodbye. It's gone. It's gonna look more like a famine or the end of the world. You talking about you dropping bombs in Tehran, America? This the peace president. While Vladimir is still in Ukraine, and you just letting them do it. Slaughter them, just letting them do it. Regardless of how you feel, President Trump, to make you understand, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and China, look at it from their perspective. Don't look at it, President Trump, from your perspective. You a businessman, President T. You triple OG, baby. I'm rocking with you. You a businessman. You looking at it from a business perspective. Don't look at it from your perspective. Look at it from Iran's perspective. You know what Iran doing? They sitting back there like some devils, bro. Like Pinky in the brain. That's what they doing. Listening and watching your every word. And while you being a businessman, these people don't care nothing about no business. President Trump, you care about business. You did the kingdom, MSB. That's a businessman. Saudi Arabia, shout out to the Crown Prince. That's a businessman in Saudi Arabia. They ain't nothing like the Iranians. I'm talking about the whole world. How many of y'all been to Abu Dhabi? Been to Dubai, on everything. You laughing, but on everything, you talking about that, bro, they driving Lamborghinis in the desert. They been doing it. That's a different world, Arabia. That's a different Middle East. I'm talking about over on that other side. President Trump, you talking about bombing Iran, you could kiss your golden age goodbye. Because I'm talking about, that's like, y'all, who seen 300? What's that movie with the Persian Empire? They gonna come out, President Trump. I'm talking about, they've been funding wars against America and Israel for decades. I'm talking about on multiple fronts. Iran got a proxy military in Israel, right? They got one down there in Saudi Arabia or Yemen to fight against Saudi Arabia because they hate Saudi Arabia as much as they hate Israel, right? The Houthis. Iran been funding terrorists all over the world. We don't know that. So President Trump, you go bomb them, it ain't gonna be no 5-day campaign. You're gonna get entrenched. And the world market's hitting the trash. And inflation through the roof. It's counterproductive, President Trump. You see why optics matter? It matters. Don't think about how you look at it. Think about how old North Korea looking at it. What you need. Think about how Xi Jinping, Chinese Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping, he probably don't know. I don't too much care for, you know what I'm saying? I'm red, white, and blue till I die, boy. Bleed for it. You feel me? Oh, Xi Jinping, you know, he been wanting to attack Taiwan. Let's be real, y'all. Y'all know that's, bruh, come on. Y'all do the research. That boy, I'm talking about flaring his military up, getting them. What's up, TM Constitutional Press? How you doing, my brother? Y'all, please double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell. Number 2, President Trump, my brother, my president, my friend, my buddy, my pal. There will be no Nobel Peace Prize without you achieving peace in Ukraine. 7,000, those are just the Russian troops that are dying. Putin will kill civilians. He'll kill his own civilian. Why he care about killing Ukrainian civilians? He think they his people anyway. Putin don't care. Like, you got to think about those movies where you watch those Russian mobsters. That's what Putin is. We found this out. I'm talking about when W left. Keep shouting out W and TX. You feel me? When President Bush left the White House, when President Obama started in 2009. So I'm saying we figured this out in 2005, what Putin is, but it ain't hating on President Trump. It's the Republican Party have some kind of fascination with Vladimir. Because Vladimir's a conservative? Is that why the Republican Party like Vladimir? Because he's a conservative. Oh, he's a conservative madman? He's a conservative killer, a conservative war criminal, a conservative civil rights violator. But we like him as a Republican Party because he's a fellow conservative. I'm saying you gonna let that conservative liberal stuff bleed over international lines? So where you gonna let this dude as a man? So Hitler was a conservative. You just gonna let Hitler? You know Hitler, my buddy Hitler. I looked into Hitler's eyes and I saw a friend, because he's a conservative. Oh, Hitler. He killed his own citizens, but he's a conservative. Hitler. Taking Ukraine's money and hanging them out to dry? That's way worse than what President Biden did in Afghanistan. Way worse. Way worse. you could say, listen, I don't care, President Trump. We getting ready to bomb Iran. President Trump, I'm saying, like, I done did this with these advisors. Y'all want me to make another video? What's going on? From bomb Iran. What? So you tried diplomacy with Ukraine. You tried diplomacy. And then first of all, and then second of all, it's like Israel, all you got to do is support Israel. All you got to do is what you keep on hating on President Biden, but you're going to end up doing exactly what he was doing. President Trump, I love you. I'm just being real. You saying it out your own mouth. You saying you're going to let them duke it out. That's what President Biden was doing. He was letting them duke it out. But you saying you going to come, but you got, I'm saying we cool with Putin because he a conservative. You done got them people money. You got, man, come on, man. You gonna let that man, you said, man, I couldn't be you, President Trump. I know you done kind of got softer in your older years. I couldn't be in that position because if I told that man, bruh, I'm talking about, Vladimir, I'm trying to be your friend. There's an element in my country that that hate you, Vladimir. I'm trying to be your friend. So, Vladimir, this is what I'm saying. If I'm telling the world I'm your friend now, remember, Kalamani in Iran, Xi Jinping and Beijing, they might as well be on a conference. The Chinese leader, the Iranian leader, they all watching. And so you telling Putin I'm your friend, so Putin, he thumbing, oh, don't hit Ukraine. Oh, I'm gonna hit him harder than I hit him the night before after you said that. He thumbing his nose. Oh yeah, I want a peace treaty. I want a peace meeting. Then he killing citizens. He want a peace. He want to talk some peace. And he got President Trump frustrated like he finna walk away. President Trump, if you walk away, that'd be way worse than what President Biden did in Afghanistan after you got them people money. I love you, President T. This MAGA radio. We rocking President T 10 toes down, boy. Like it, lump it, or choke on it. Like it, love it, or choke on it. I'm rocking with President T 10 toes down, baby. But President Trump, we never pick fights that we know we can't win. If y'all get me up there to where I can advise him, we won't be going through this, President T. You listening to Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, you know what you're talking about? Who President Trump, who giving you advice? Because we could do this right now. Well, we got 90-some people in this, 80-some people in this live stream, President Trump. We could do this right now. Who giving you advice? Because y'all remember Garcia, the immigrant that President Trump deported to Venezuela? Y'all remember Garcia? He back in America. Remember President Trump coming on TV and saying he ain't coming back to America. He got the Venezuelan president in the White House and they laughing and joking and saying he ain't coming back to America. And that Maryland senator said, I bet you he is. Constitutional crisis? We ain't having no constitutional crisis. That third branch of government, y'all better salute that third branch and recognize the power of the law. Garcia back in America. And he got charged with some new charges. And he probably will end up getting deported again. But that's what I'm saying. It makes you look weak, President Trump. When you fight fights, you cannot win. When that judge said, bring the dude back, I'm going to bring him back, and that's it. It ain't no winning in this. So if I'm looking tough and saying, oh no, he's not coming back, and you bring the Venezuelan president to mock the judge, what? President Trump, who you got advising you? You mocking the judge. Do you understand that it's the court, President Trump, the reason why you ain't in jail? President Trump, do you understand it's because the courts might be the reason why you not dead? And you mocking the judge, and he told you to bring this dude back? The optics are not good, President T. And then I pick up and I see on the news and now Garcia back in America. And you said he ain't coming back. The AG said he ain't coming back. I heard the AG out her mouth say he ain't coming back, and he back. So you know what that means, President Trump? I love you, bruh. Steve Bannon ain't gonna tell you this. But Steve Bannon shouldn't be advising you, because if you was listening to me, go look at the live streams. What I said, y'all, if y'all follow the content, if y'all be up in here in the background paying the scene, didn't you hear me say if I was him, I'd just throw some little money under the table, do something on the hush, bring him back. As soon as he get back, deport him again. I even said you don't even have to bring him back to America. Just bring him to Mexico. Just get him out of that jail. That judge said, get him out of that, just get him out of that jail and bring him to Mexico or do something. But nah, that's not. Steve Bannon said, nah, we powerful, we bad. So I'm going to go on TV with Venezuela and mock the judge. But how it ended, Garcia back. Garcia back. He back in America right now. The same dude, President Trump and Venezuelan president, was on TV, said he ain't coming back. They don't care what no judge say. Impeach the judge, he ain't coming back. That judge could put handcuffs on you, bro. I don't care who you are. You don't understand that. That man in that black robe, he'll put handcuffs on you, bro. Real talk. Ain't no constitutional crisis, what? What you think the military gonna do and the court make that order? They see them politicians to come and go. That Supreme Court justice, he lifetime. He was there when President Obama was there. Y'all don't remember President Obama in the inauguration? Yeah, our supreme leader holding the Bible. We got a supreme leader too. It's them men in them black robes. Never pick a fight you can't win, President Trump. It's going to make you look bad. It's going to make more people try you. That Maryland senator, bro, he over there, bro. Bro, I'm talking. So President Trump, next time you deport somebody that they want to try you on, they're going to try you. Every time you deport somebody they don't want you to, they're going to try you. And you know what they doing? President Trump, another promise you made, the largest deportation in U.S. history. You know what you're doing. You know what they doing. Next time that ICE want to deport somebody, you know what they going to do? Questionable. I don't know about him. We might not want to grab him. You want to depart, we might not want to grab him. You know what them Democrats doing? This is what them Democrats doing to you on immigration right now, President Trump. You don't even see it. This is what they doing to you on immigration. This is what they doing to you. Steve Bannon, you got a podcast called The War Room, and you so genius, bro. So are you advising President Trump? Is Steve Bannon, are you the one doing this? I wish he would listen to me, bro. I wish he would. Because y'all could go back and watch the streams, bro. You never pick a fight you can't win, President Trump. That make you look bad. Them Democrats are emboldened now. Garcia was a big win for him. They going to keep suing you on immigration. And you talking about the largest deportation in U.S. history, President Trump, when you finish, your numbers in deportation is going to be worse than Joe Biden's. You might think that funny, but y'all better go research. Go somebody Google how many people Joe Biden deported and put it down in the chat. It's probably about 2 million. It was about normal amount of people he deported. He deported a lot. Then he opened the doors and let all of them go. He deported about 2 million to go get all their cousins and let them come back in the country. It ain't funny, but that's what he did. That's what I'm saying, President Trump. Don't pick a fight you can't win, like picking a fight with Harvard, President T. That's a big mistake. I know how the courts work. I know how the cases work. At first, President Trump come on TV and he bad-mouthing Harvard. And he gonna take this from him, and he gonna take this, and he gonna take this. And y'all, in about 3 months, you know what he gonna have? I'm gonna come back on TV. Cause CNN gonna CNN gonna make sure that we know that, hey, y'all remember Harvard? Oh yeah, Harvard sued the Trump administration and they won all 8-9 lawsuits in a row. Walked the dog on them. Harvard law walked the dog on them. That's how you end up being a lame duck president. They don't respect your power. You putting yourself out there to be challenged. I'm saying you're gonna challenge Harvard law over what they teaching at their schools. You're not gonna win that. If you challenge them over something you write you probably won't win it. You're talking about Harvard. That's the best attorneys in the world. They'll write a book on strategy on how they finna walk the dog on you. You better come correct, bro. You talking about Harvard. Who in your administration smarter than them as a collective? Let's be real. See, the reason how I would beat them is because I would know when to fight them and when not to fight them. I know when to engage and when not to engage. I'm saying it looks good for Republicans for him to get at Harvard, but in the end, it's going to be like Garcia. In the end, it's going to be like Garcia. Harvard going to win all them cases. So what did you do? And when Harvard beat him, all them schools he picked on that he could have got, if you wouldn't just he could have got some of it off. But after Harvard beat him in court, they gonna embolden all the rest of the schools. So everything you did on education gonna end up in the trash in the end of them 4 years. I could project truth to y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, I noticed. You never pick a fight that you know you can't win. Never. You spin the block. You know what that means? I know I got a lot of old listeners and a lot of old. You know what spinning the block mean? It means that you come back to it. You feel what I'm saying? If you're going to fight a group of guys and there's 3 of y'all and there's 30 of them, you going to fight them? No. You're going to spin the block. You're going to come back. And you come back and now you got 33 of y'all, but they knew you were coming back and now it's 100 of them. You going to fight them? No. You're going to spin the block. That's my strategy. Some people, you try that tough guy stuff and you go in there and you get your head taken off. Because in politics, that's what happened to President Trump. On that immigration, basically the Democrats about to take his head off. I'm saying he still could deport people. He's still going to deport people. But the largest deportation in U.S. history, remember that? We talked about that. Remember that when I said that? You know what I'm saying? This MAGA radio, this is the real MAGA radio. We rocking with President T. I believe in President Trump and his visions and his creativity. The creativity of Donald J. Trump. I'm talking about from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Old school President Trump. I believe in that President Trump. I got high hopes for you, man. But I'm saying, though, you bombing Iran, it ain't going to get no golden age. But I ain't going to say nothing because the military, they going to tell you to do what you need to do. But I'm saying you said all this different than Joe Biden. I mean, you should have let what Joe Biden was doing, you should have let that rock. And I'm going to be frank with you. I don't see nobody else with a bigger influence than President Obama over Biden's administration on foreign policy. Because I'm saying on foreign policy, who you going to ask? Jill Biden? No disrespect to Dr. Biden, but I'm saying foreign policy, President Obama, and I'm saying President Trump. Really, you making fun of President Biden and them over Russia, but you saying you finna do the same thing they was doing. Let them fight. That's what they was doing. They was letting them fight. And you said that was no leadership. And you went and tried to be a leader. You tried to be a leader. See, that made President Biden look better than you in the actual job. Because he never attempted. He never talked to Putin. Because he knows Putin. President Biden knew Gorbachev. He knew the dude who handed the baton to Putin. You feel me? President Biden knew the dude who handed the baton to Putin. He knew Putin 2-3 years as the Russian president when he didn't know what he was doing, trying to start a democracy, acting like he finna start a democracy. But the whole time, and the KGB had raised him to reunite the USSR, Pinky and the Brain, take over the world. Yeah, Joe Biden knew Putin back then. That's why he ain't talked to him. So it make him look better. But President Trump talking about trying diplomacy, and you run over there and try to talk to him, and Putin flick his nose in your face, and you talking about walking away. That make you look way worse, President Trump. Whoever advising him, it ain't President Trump. President Trump is just a politician, man. He don't know the law. He got people like Ghosts who know the law, who gonna tell him the right thing. You don't know the law. You gonna go get a lawyer. I don't know nothing about no medicine. If my arm hurt, I can't fix my arm. I gotta go get somebody who know how to do it. Well, y'all think these politicians are just adopting advice they're getting. They're just adopting the advice. So it's about the advice that he's getting, not the facts and the stats that the military giving them about the situation on the ground. I'm talking about the policymakers like the Steve Bannons. Who else advising President Trump on national security? Because Walsh is gone. I remember Bolton used to advise him. Who advising y'all on President Trump on national security? President Trump, there's no golden age. If the world breaks off in World War III, you won't get no Nobel Peace Prize. If you take Ukraine's money and you walk away from them, you might not can see it right now, but that's going to look way worse than President Trump left Afghanistan. And whoever your Republican that run behind you, whether it's J.D. Vance or whoever, the Democrats going to beat you up over that of leaving Afghanistan to dry. You got to remember that too. That next election, they coming. Historically, in the midterms, the party that's not in power always comes back. I think Democrats taking Congress. I don't think you could stop that. I think my baby AOC is going to take over the Senate. Who the old dude who are the senators from New York? What's that dude's name? AOC needs your spot. Y'all got to get AOC a spot, bro, in the Democratic Party. If it's something about the Democrats, President Trump used to be a Democrat. They ran him off. Look at my boy Patrick. What's up, P? Hadn't seen you in a minute, my boy. Bye-bye. Y'all make sure right now, y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And like my boy Pat did, if you guys want to donate to the channel, super chat, super thanks, super sticker start at 99 cents. Y'all hit that button below with the $sign in it, and your donations are much appreciated. So Pat, what's happening, man? I'll talk to you for a minute, man. I pretty much gave people the rundown, gave people the content. You know what I'm saying, Pat? If you got some questions for me, my brother, I'll answer them for you. Like I said, man, I'm a supporter of President Trump. I support President Trump. I just think President Trump has set up a perfect storm for I don't even want to say it, man, because I think it just would be bad. Listen, Pat, this is unintentional. It's just President Trump is a businessman. So he comes in there running America as a business. He said, I'm late to the party. I think I just sit back and observe for a bit since I'm at work. Okay, yes, sir. So I think President Trump come up in the game like a businessman, because he a businessman. That's what he is. You see what I'm saying? So he looking and observing the scene as a business. So this ain't nothing new. This all the Republicans was talking about this for a while. He was talking about how America was spending more money on helping starving nations than they were helping their own people. You giving 200-300 million. How many of us heard him say this? 200-300 million people to the foreigners. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So he come in and slashing programs, slashing the aid. But what that's doing is that's giving up soft power. What's soft power, Ghost? Soft power means, Patrick, that I'm helping to feed members of your family. Say I got a couple members of Patrick's family that work for me. So say if I had beef with a dude and I pick up the phone and call Patrick and a couple of his, that's what soft power is. I don't have no power over Patrick, but because I employ some of his sons, you know he gonna ride with me. That's what America do. That's what that giving that money, that's what that does. Well, President Trump said he want to slash it. Hey, listen, I said he's the duly elected president. So that's what our law is. You have to, whether you support it or not. I just think it's a wrong time because it was a perfect storm. Why are you giving up soft power at the same time? This his words. President Trump's words. According to Reuters, a pretty replicable news source from June the 4th, okay? President Trump has revised his maximum pressure campaign against Tehran, the Iranian capital, since his return to the White House in January, which included tightening sanctions. He already did that, and threatening to bomb him. He's threatening to bomb him. Okay, and the reason I said that, because the peace deal fell apart. Iran said, we ain't doing that. Threatening to bomb him. This is what I'm saying. This is a bad, so you give up the soft power at the same time, in the same concession, in the same circle, you give up soft power. You let Putin flick his nose in your face. That Israel thing, and then now Iran saying we don't, no deal. No deal. Greedy American, no deal. America cannot tell us we cannot have bomb, no deal. We seen no Trump or Putin flick his nose in Trump's face. He ain't about nothing. No deal. Trump, you ain't gonna do nothing. You all talk. No deal. It's the optics, baby. It's all optics. It's the optics of it. And it all comes down to who's advising President Trump. I understand what's going on. President Trump, if he watched this, he would know I understood what was going on. Because of the way I'm talking. President Trump ain't in Israel. He can't depend on CNN. I love CNN. I love Fox. He can't depend on CNN and Fox. You see how I didn't call no other names that I loved. I might like a one or two, but CNN and Fox is what I'm rolling with. But he can't call CNN and Fox. He got to get intelligence from people on the ground. That's the same thing as if you was in your house and you didn't have no cameras and two of your kids are fighting and you need to figure out what's going on. President Trump, they coming to him. People like Steve Bannon is advising him. President Trump, if you believe in the conservatism that Steve Bannon is spewing and you believe in the libertarianism that Elon Musk is spewing, it's okay to have around you. But President Trump, here's my thing about that whole situation. You need an independent, free-thinking mind too. Because I'm not plugged into no conservatism like that. I'm plugged into some Godism. Any of y'all heard of Jesus Christ or God? That's who I'm plugged into. That's my conservatism. So I'm not plugged into conservatism like that Steve Bannon is, to where he gonna tell you to attack Harvard, to where you finna get the government sued 1,000 times. Harvard sitting there baiting you so they could try to sue you for money. They're going to get some money out of you. You talking about these smart people, you going to get the government sued 1,000 times because you on some conservatism. Oh, nah, President Trump, leave them alone. Get on them about them being hatred towards Jewish students. Yeah, that's racism. You hating on the Jew, you hate on a white person. If a group of black people hate on a white person, that white person need to come hire ghosts to do their documents. That's racism. It don't have to be against black people. It could be against anybody, any race. That look up the word. That's what racism is. So if they hating on the Jews, yeah, get on them about that. But I'm saying you can't tell them what they teach in their school. And if the judge say to bring Garcia back, bring him back. Don't argue with him. Don't try to have what's his name on TV. That's what I'm saying, your advisors. Stephen Miller, I ain't hating on you, bro, but I heard you talking so hard about Garcia, what that judge's order said and how he went. And the whole time, President Trump, if you just watched the Legal War Live, I was saying, and the people who watch me, they know the whole time I was saying that he gonna get brought back. Patrick and them know, they watch me. I was saying the whole time he was gonna get brought back. And you got these people in front of the camera. It's like I'm allowed, but it's like when it comes to, because I care about winning and losing. I don't care about making a statement. If I'm going to just do this to Harvard to make a statement, that's one thing. I don't care about making a statement. I want to win, win, win. And I'm saying that if we don't do this foreign policy right, it ain't going to be no golden age. It's going to all fall apart. President Trump, who you got advising you on foreign policy? President Trump, if I could just say, for instance, if I was Elon's top advisor, President Trump, who is that? Maxwell Frost? I'm going to go look him up, Patrick. I appreciate that, my brother. I'm going to go check out Maxwell Frost. Y'all, everybody in here, y'all go check out Maxwell Frost, y'all. Make sure if y'all haven't, double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Yeah, I appreciate it, Patrick. I'm going to go check them out, man. Pat, we rocking with President Trump, man, till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, nah, you good. You good. President Trump, we rocking, I mean, Pete, we rocking with President T to the wheels fall off. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? President T, a real one, man. You know what I'm saying? But he just needs some good advisors around him. I'm not hating on. I think Steve Bannon is a smart guy. I don't think he's particularly fond of black people, but I think he's smart. I don't think he probably ain't all the way racist. I've seen some stuff in him, but I think he's smart. And I think Stephen Miller is smart, but like that's just the wrong advice. And if you watch the League Wars live, I would told you from the get-go. When that judge, who you can't, there's certain situations you can argue with a judge, and there's certain situations you cannot. Certain situations, one of the worst things you can do is argue with that judge. There's sometimes you will let that judge gonna let you slide. You can't go in there like you big dog, because he know the law better than you do. And he know the law, hold on a second. In a lot of situations, the laws with a judge, especially on the appeals level, you go sit down somewhere. Because you know they all linked in. You got a problem with the federal judge, you're going to have a problem with the Supreme Court justice, because he going to protect, that justice going to protect them judges. He know the law say that in America with the judges, a lot of law, they got powers as to a king. President Trump don't got those powers over domestic issues. He does over some issues, like maybe a tariff, but that's really not domestic. It affects domestics, but that's really like he putting the tariffs on China. I'm talking about the things that happen in America. That man in the black robe is supreme. That's who's going to be supreme. Because y'all don't know it don't mean that I'm not going to benefit off of it, because I know it. The judges are supreme. Those federal judges in America, anything to do with America, those are the ones who are supreme. President Trump, anything overseas. Y'all, I love every last one of y'all. Thank y'all for watching and rocking with me for a long time today, man. We've been cooking in here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, though, Pat, like this MAGA radio, today I'm MAGA radio. Because that's what love is. President T, you know what I'm saying? I'm just come to you real. Ain't nobody else gonna bring it to you real. Steve Bannon, he's putting you on crash dummy missions. Not on purpose. He too entrenched President Trump into ideology. President Trump, you can't come ask me to advise you on anything have to do with morality and Christianity. Because I'm not going to give you, President Trump, if we talking about Christianity, I'm not going to give you accurate advice. Does that make sense? You're going to ask me about a 4-year-old having a sex change. And you will never ask me a question about anything to do with spirituality or religious or morality, because I'm going to make you feel bad about yourself, as you should, in my opinion at least. But if America was all for TG children, I'm not the, can you get that? Anything to do with God or Christianity or morality, I don't care. I'm going to always take the side of God. Does that make sense? Well, that's the same thing as Steve Bannon trying to tell him something, like he going to take the side of conservatism or whatever that is he into that he believes. Republicans, I'm not going to do none of that. I'm going to take the side of logic in that situation. And I'm going to stand 10 toes and argue my point. And I've said on these live streams plenty of time before these events happen, and y'all know it. Patrick, you know it. Y'all know it. I said plenty of times on these live streams before it happened, Garcia was going to be right back in America. You're going to go get the Venezuelan president. And Stephen, you just trying to get clout, bro. You trying to score points. It ain't about scoring points. It's about winning the game. I'm going to say one more thing. You know, Michael Jordan was like, whether you think he the best guy, best player in the game going to be by generation. If you ask somebody who in their 30s, they're going to tell you LeBron. Somebody my age, 45 or maybe to about 50-ish, going to say Michael Jordan. If you ask somebody older, they'll say Dr. J. That's what I'm saying. So look, I'm saying, but Michael Jordan revolutionized the game because his shoes is in everybody's house. If Dr. J might have been the best basketball player, but his shoes ain't in everybody's house. LeBron James got a lot of people got his shoes, but not like Mike's. So that's what I'm talking about with Mike. But let me tell you something about Mike. Mike is a player that when he go in there, y'all remember Michael Jordan? He doing Michael Jordan being all pretty, but that's cool when you that good. But what I'm saying is John Stockton, y'all remember John Stockton and Karl Malone? They weren't pretty like that. They were basic basketball players, and they'll beat the snot out of you every night. That's how the Spurs played basketball. They played ABC, fundamentals. You see what I'm saying? I'm about winning. I'm going to stick with the fundamentals to win. I don't care about no style points. You can get the style points, but what's a style point? You could, bro, you want to look, dudes want to look pretty doing a layup and lose the game. You feel what I'm saying? You got a wide open layup, but you need 3 points. So instead of kicking it out to Steph Curry, you want to go in trying to look like Michael Jordan and be pretty, but you finna lose the game because you needed 3 points, you got 2. I'm gonna throw the ball to Steph and let him win us the game. I care about winning. I don't care about no points. I don't care how I look to people or what it looked like to people. I want to win. President Trump getting a peace deal. And 7,000 Russians. Those are somebody's children. What if that was your kids? A week. He could save 7,000 lives minimum a week with a peace deal. Get a Nobel Peace Prize. Asia calm down. That'll probably be the end. He could deal with Iran then. Especially instead of dealing with them right now while Asia on fire. He could. He could. Or you could walk away, President Trump. It's your choice. But I think if you walk away, President Trump, y'all, that's my time, man. You know what I'm saying? Guys, we got a new video up. It's called The Part 3. Y'all, please go check that out for me, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's a Christian video, man. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I'm not a preacher, though. And I'm probably not a really good Christian, if you ask, but I do love Jesus with all my heart. And I do tell people about him. That's my love for him. You feel me? How he suffered, bled, and died on the cross for our sins to save us. How he was buried and he rose from the dead the third day. You guys, the Part 3, you are forgiven. That's what it's about. Everybody, anybody, Jesus died for everybody. Everybody technically is forgiven, but you won't go to heaven unless you repent of your sins. You accept Jesus' sacrifice as payment for your sins. You believe and have faith that he's saved. It's in a prayer. It's the pardon, baby, in the season. 100,000 souls, y'all. I love every last one of y'all. Every time I get in a situation where something's above me, I always reach to God. You know what I'm saying? I have problems with depression, anxiety. I fight against them. I always say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I love y'all, guys. That's my time. I'm gonna see y'all probably next Thursday. You know what I'm saying? But guys, go right now, y'all. Go watch all of the videos that I've uploaded, man. Discover Your Passion 4 come out on Wednesday. Like I said, I love y'all, man. Go live your life, discover your passion. Do not forget God. I'll see y'all next time, y'all. I'm out.